achy backs, sore shoulders, bad knees, any form of discomfort while cycling is far from ideal really. And today we're looking at one of the most common, numb feet. Now this might not be as painful as other areas, but numb feet have ruined many a long ride. So we're back with Luke, our friendly neighbourhood bike fitter, to see what we can do about it. If you look at a pro cycling team, then they just look good, don't they? Matching kit, matching bikes, matching helmets, matching components. But there is one area that hardly ever matches. Their shoes. You see, even with an unlimited budget, a pro cycling team still struggles to find any one brand that will suit all of its riders. But there's a lot more to comfortable feet on the bike than that. To fast forward the rather intimidating process of shoes, cleat positioning, arch support, toe box volumes, boas versus laces, float, here's the 3 most common reasons why your feet are going numb on the bike.
If you go for a bike fit and someone does not spend a decent amount of time analysing your foot in detail, supporting the foot, correcting the foot inside of a shoe, discussing options, getting you to try things. It's always important to try things. Your body will tell you if it's better or not. I would run them out. Simply because without perfecting this contact point, you can't effectively optimize someone's biomechanics on a bike and reduce discomforts. Even within saddle, knees, even hand numbness can be reduced and make that disappear just by supporting someone's foot rectally. On the bike, we are not getting rid of weight, we are passing weight around to different contact points, and I want it at your feet. And I want it at your feet without any discomforts.
Yeah, so what if my feet are going numb on the bike?
It's very common because our feet are basically a really dense structure of nerves, capillaries. The job they have is to basically stabilize our body when we're walking on uneven ground, barefoot. So the byproduct of that is you're given a bit of plastic to ride and you put a carbon sole shoe on a plastic sole shoe that is super rigid, super stiff, no ability to flex. What happens is all the muscles and the capillaries around them kind of don't really work, don't really get activated, and the foot kind of goes to sleep a little bit in the shoe. So numb feet, the first one is just restriction of blood flow to your foot. It's a pretty simple thing. If your shoe is too narrow, then the blood will not effectively be able to pump through the foot. And the byproduct of that is you'll start getting numbness. One of the things to take into account, if you stand up and you can notice that one foot, when you're looking down at your feet, is slightly wider than the other, and that foot is the one that happens to go numb first, it's a pretty good indication that probably your foot numbness is more related to restriction of blood flow.
A few questions about that.
Go on.
A, I only get numb feet when it's hot.
Yes.
Why is that? And B, why do I find a different shoe size more comfortable in cycling shoes as to my trainers?
So, when it's warm and hot, your feet will swell. When your feet swell and it's probably already in a shoe that's slightly restricted, it increases the chance of foot numbness to develop. So it's not uncommon that some people mention their foot swells up sort of 2 hours in, 3 hours in, or when they go and do a cycling holiday away. What happens normally in the UK is if you start a ride at 9 AM, it's 5 degrees. By the time you get home at midday, it could be 15, 16, and now my feet are numb. And is what people often say to me is, I guess I get a little bit, but it's normal. I was like, it's not normal. Your feet should not be going numb. You should not be having discomfort there. When you're looking to buy a shoe, ideally try and take the insoles out of the shoe, place them on the ground, place your feet on it, stand up and see how your foot fits on that insole. It's going to give you a good understanding of if you was to remove the restriction of the shoe, how does your foot want to react? Now, we want to let your foot spread and splay out. The sensation you should be getting when you try a shoe on is, oh, it kind of feels like a slipper. Happy days, that's comfortable. That's all those nerves in your feet have kind of relaxed. The more relaxed those nerves are, the more your body is going to go, right, happy days, I can let my biomechanics do what I want to do and just propel the bike forward.
So my trainers are the right size but wider, and I'm trying to buy cycling shoes that are too narrow for me, basically.
The sole of a trainer is softer, so the muscles are still having to work in your foot, which requires blood to be pumped there, which is then going to reduce numbness developing. Pair this with softer uppers on a trainer, lets feet kind of breathe and do their thing. Feet are becoming wider because as humans we work from home, we walk around in trainers and the foot is allowing itself to splay.
Just lazy buggers really, aren't we?
Yeah. So you can clearly see here two very different widths. Now, is what we're aiming for is the sole of the shoe to match the width of your forefoot ideally. So taking that insole out is an effective way of kind of getting a little bit of an understanding. We don't want any overhanging, any feeling that kind of like your fifth metatarsal or first metatarsal is kind of like bulging out the side of a shoe, or you feel like your foot's kind of overhanging the side of the shoe. And the thing to bear in mind, you may have really old shoes now and you may buy a newer pair that's not as supple on the top because you've kind of pushed them out and you may start getting numbness. It is a bit of a minefield. Best thing I would suggest is go to a bike fitter that offers a shoe fitting service. It shouldn't cost any more than just the cost of purchasing the shoe, and they'll be able to give you a detailed insight into what shoe works for your foot. Don't buy it on what looks nice. There will be a shoe that fits your foot that looks nice as well. Like, I am also vain. I like nice looking cycling shoes.
Okay, so I'm in the right size shoes. My feet are still going numb.
Yes.
What's next?
So potentially insufficient support. So the next thing we're talking about, insoles. We talked about them a lot because they're very important. Pretty much every video we've discussed. There's a podcast out there that Tony Cork was on. He runs bike fit courses and he described them as we want them to be called arch touchers rather than arch support. And that is 100% correct. If you just get it, something in the shoe that's going to basically touch the bottom of your foot and the bit of the foot that's all empty. So most people have sort of 20 to 25 mil of arch height. That's kind of where something like this is a CDAS free feet, originally designed for like everyday smart shoes, and actually it's working really well for bike fitters, and now that's pretty much what most bike fitters run.
My smart shoes are my cycling shoes.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's either cycling shoes or barefoot.
Yeah.
There's no other two. So yeah, really good, cheap, off-the-shelf option to be able to get your foot to touch more of the bottom of the shoe, let the nervous system calm down and reduce the compensation that's potentially occurring. It's the compensation your body is going to be doing, whether that's clenching of the toes, whether that's pointing of the toe through the top and the bottom of the stroke. All these things massively increase the chance of numbness in your feet. So we want to avoid that. So yeah.
So why are shoe manufacturers, why are they still supplying crap insoles basically?
Yeah, good question. I guess probably as a consumer, they wouldn't be happy if you spent £300 on a shoe and you didn't have anything inside the shoe. Some manufacturers are doing this, like you can peel a bit of foam off the bottom and stick another one underneath. Quad do it. Shimano've done it. Giro used to do it as well. It's not enough. You can't. They have to cater for everyone, and they have to cater for if someone put the wrong arch piece in there, that they're not going to cause damage or issue to their feet. The byproduct of that is it's nowhere near enough. You see that with even the Specialized, like red, green, blue. Again, it's not enough.
What proportion of the British population do you think is well suited to an off-the-shelf shoe, the right shoe that fits, but with the standard insole in? How many people do you think, what percentage of people do you think should be looking at insoles or would see a benefit from going to insoles?
From a bike fit perspective, obviously I'm seeing a swayed reality of the population, and I haven't gone out there and asked people to take their feet out and analyse their feet in the street. That would be a bit strange. Yeah, but I would say, the only people that have not left with some kind of arch support in their shoe is people that probably come with it in.
So potentially out in the real world, not everyone, but the majority.
I would say if
people
someone's
would
got a
benefit
really,
from this.
really, really flat foot, and they would probably be the only case where the thin bit of foam inside would work. But even then, as they're flat-footed, it's probably due to them pronating at the ankle, which we don't want to happen on the bike because that's going to cause potential further on effects up the chain. So yeah, even them, everyone.
Well, you've overcomplicated everything now with pronation and things. What's number 3?
Number 3 is the setup of the cleats.
I thought this might come up.
Yeah, again, we've talked about this in probably every video we've potentially done because it's an important one. There is a lot of old school ideologies on the internet, on forums that says, put the cleat really far forward, put it under the ball of your foot.
It might be the YouTube comments in a minute.
Potentially. If you put the pedal axle directly under the ball of the foot, the first metatarsal, you drastically increase the likelihood of getting numbness directly because the pedal axle is under quite a delicate structure, but also promoting instability in the foot that we've just discussed
Can also cause numbness. Yeah.
Now, the only time I'm aiming for the first metatarsal, the pedal axle to be under the first metatarsal, this big ball here, is a track sprinter. Someone that wants a lot of calf activation, a lot of quad activation, their plyometric muscles, they deal with massive amounts of spiking power. That's what their jobs are there for. For stability, steady state power, we want our hamstring to be engaged, our glute to be engaged. We also want our quad to work, but not be the only thing that's working. A lot of that comes from stabilizing the foot. So what I'm trying to do is push the pedal axle further backwards. So push the foot further forward, which on the shoe will be pulling your cleats back. What does that do? It reduces how much this foot basically becomes a lever, how much your calf is having to work as a lever, and it improves the stability. It makes the toes lighter. If you take your insoles out of your shoes at home that you've been wearing for a year or so, and you can see distinctive toe marks on the insole, there's a clear indication that there's some instability in your feet going on. One of the 3 things we've talked about. You may not be getting numbness in your feet, but it doesn't mean it's not potentially going to occur or there's not gains to be had. So on the shoe, when we're adjusting the cleat into the right location, what is the limiting factor in getting the cleat into what I would say is an optimal position is the shoe itself. Old school kind of shoes like Sidi, Mavic, Giro, lots, Physique, some of the older Physique range, the free hole underneath the shoe, because of this ideology of they're aiming for the ball of the foot, is too far forward. Again, so we can use adapter plates to move it, but again, getting into the right size shoe. You then pair people sizing up to accommodate a wide foot. So maybe someone that measures a 42 wide and they go into a shop and they just try a range of shoes on and the 43.5 fits better. When we're dealing with really fine margins, that 5 mil difference on your cleats is massive. If you're in a shoe that's maybe 1.5 centimeters too long for you, that is an issue.
It's going to be in completely wrong place.
Yeah, so generally in cycling bike fitting, there aren't generally rules of thumb that work for one person and works for everyone. But what I would say is if you're unsure, pull your cleats all the way back on the shoe. It's gonna help stabilize the foot. It's a good place to start from. There's gonna be no downside or negative to doing that. And the likelihood is it won't be far enough back based on shoe manufacturers. When you're looking for a shoe in this case, look for a shoe that has slits rather than just 3 holes drilled into the shoe. Normally you pay a little bit more for that. Again, it's better mobility. We've talked about some of the things we can do to get it further back.
So basically, if I've got numb feet, make sure my shoes fit. Make sure my cleats are in the right place, moving back. And I would almost definitely benefit from some insoles.
100%. And I would say the one thing is where to invest your money is in the correct shoe and the insole. If you're going to buy a new bike, get a new shoe first, the right shoe. Get the correct support inside the shoe is going to transform your cycling. Put in maybe £200 into the correct shoe, £100 into an orthotic, or even £100 into a correct shoe, £30 into an off-the-shelf insole is going to give you better bang for buck than any add-on upgrade that you're going to select that the industry has told you is going to be better for you.
There we go. There's some
Happy days.
top tips.
Top tips.
Let us know any of your bike fit questions, as well as any topics that you'd like to cover in future videos down in the comments below. If you found this video interesting, then give it a like, subscribe to the channel for lots more bike stuff, and we'll see you next time.